So here in Canada, we are known for our big giant beavers. Here's some more evidence of that. The stump again is about 4 feet off the ground. I'm estimating the beaver to weigh around 120 to 150 pounds. I mean, the stump is taller than my ATV. It's got to be a giant beaver. Can't be anything else. But anyways, I'm going to talk again a little bit about my micro logging rig. So, before you I have a Polaris 500. It's a 2007. It's the HO X2 model. Now the X2 model, in my opinion, is the workhorse of the ATVs. It's got a 400-pound load capacity on the back. So it handles this box with all the tools, no problem. And it also handles pulling this trailer, no problem. Right now I just got one tree loaded up. It's a 4x6 trailer. So this tree felled by the giant beaver, it's actually pretty thick. It's about, I'd say about 16 inches at the stump. So we will cut this up for firewood and load that up on this trailer yet. That'll be a good solid load. This trailer has no suspension. It's just a solidly welded axle, so no moving parts. Actually, that's not true. The only moving part is it's a tilt trailer, so I can flip it up and dump the load, which is really nice. So, modifications on my ATV. Pretty much the first thing I did when I bought it was I put these mud flaps on. I know they look very trailer park, but they work extremely well. And then shortly after, I built this toolbox holder. And basically what I did was I bought these boat plugs, which act like the lock and ride hooks that you can buy from Polaris, but this is the cheaper option. So I got angle iron here, held by the boat plug, and then this box is just screwed straight to the angle iron. So a very simple build. I'll show you the other side. Same with my saw holder. Extremely simple, but very effective. So it's just two boards screwed to this piece of plywood. Now the one thing that made it a little tricky was that this whole setup is not completely square. It angles backwards like this. So once I had that figured out, then it was easier to build. So this little space that I had in between here, the initial thought process was to basically build a small box in here too, just to hold some stuff, but I got everything organized so well that this works really good as a chainsaw fueling station. So I just throw my chainsaw in like this, and it holds the chainsaw quite well. Got my gas can slash oil can right here, so it makes fueling fast and easy. Of course, this is all harder to show one-handed, so I'm trying to film here. So for the rest of the box, whoa, that's just my camera tripod. It's usually not in there, only when I'm filming. So I got two of these Grapples, which are made for 20-inch logs, or up to 20-inch. They work extremely well. Then I have a pair of these. These work really well for bigger logs. So they got the little barb at the end. Then I got my homemade measuring stick here. Very simple build. It's a 40-pound magnet. This used to be a 10-pole, cut to 16 inches. I put more orange tape on this time because I almost lost it the other day. Then inside this milk crate, basically have my hard hat, my hearing protection, and a pair of bug eyes. That's what those look like. And I have a tool bag here which used to hold a lot more tools, but I've actually downsized a lot on my tools, because instead of trying to fix my chainsaw in the field, I'll just take 2 or 3 chainsaws with me when I'm cutting. So if one doesn't run, just grab the next one. That works for me. I guess not everybody can afford that, and it's the same deal with chains. I do not hand file chains in the bush. When I'm out firewood cutting, I don't have time to file chains. I just put on a new chain off the grinder. So I got one longer chain back here. That is in the event that I have to tie the back of my ATV to a tree somewhere, so I can get more pulling force with my winch. Which brings me to the winch. Now this is a 3,500 pound rated winch. Not sure if it can actually pull that, but I put this pulley block on here, which I use a lot, so I actually get a lot more power out of it. Then if I'm pulling trees out of the bush, I got a chain here. This is the real choker chain style. Got the choker on one end and the hook on the other end. Got a second chain, which I don't use as often. Now everything in my front milk crate here is for easy access. Like I just want to be fast and efficient. So I got my tree saver strap here. So anytime I get stuck with this ATV, which happens quite often, especially when I'm pulling a trailer through the swamp, I can easily hook up to any tree around and pull myself out. So that is basically the extent of my setup. Probably forgetting something, but in any case, this little Polaris here has served me well. I bought it from a second owner. I bought it with 5,000 miles. I got just over 6,000 miles on it right now. No issues. I do oil changes. When I first bought it, I changed the belt. Always seems to run. Doesn't matter if it's plus 40 or minus 40. It always starts up. And in any case, one of the real bonuses of this here machine, and this has actually saved me once, is that it's got a pull start. Because the one time I had a dead battery, which I didn't know, so I'm out about half hour away from my property, and I turned it off and it was dead, so I had to pull start it, which isn't easy or fun, but it's doable. So that really saved me. So yeah, that is the extent of my micro logging rig. Now I have tried coming up with a better design for my toolbox, but I just haven't thought of anything better yet. This setup works extremely well for me. So yeah. Oh, I didn't even mention my wedge bangers. That's my number 2 wedge banger. This is my number 1 wedge banger. And a bag full of wedges. So these are the ones I use the most, because I live in Manitoba, we don't have giant trees. So the 8-inch wedges work just fine for me. And hydration. It's one thing that most people don't talk about, but when you're doing this kind of work, you need to stay hydrated. That's all I got for you.